Welcome to Transform Now, the podcast brought to you by robotic process automation pioneer SS&C Blue Prism. Digital transformation has the potential to reshape the way companies service their customers, engage their employees, and manage their operations. Whether you're looking to develop strategies, tactics, or best practices to positively impact the future of work, or you're curious to see how other companies have successfully navigated their digital transformation programs, then this podcast is for you. We're here to help you transform now.
Hello, everyone. I'm Michael Marchuk. Welcome to the Transform Now podcast. In this episode, I'll be chatting with Govind Balu, who's the CEO of Quaxigma and the Interim Chief Digital Officer at Roadside Protect. Today, we'll be chatting with Govind about managing your data as part of building out your digital transformation program that includes automation and AI. So welcome, Govind.
Thank you so much, Michael. It's a pleasure to be here.
I'm glad you're here. So your background is fairly heavy in data and analytics, and I'd love to hear how your background at Allstate, CVS, and Walgreens and all these large organizations has shaped your view of the value of an organization's data and how analytics can help direct the trajectory of the organization, because you've seen it firsthand.
So go back to the Bank of America days. I first started to leveraging the data to improve the customer relationship perspective. So if you're a Bank of America customer, our goal is to make sure that we have a wonderful experience and you're able to buy more products and services with us. So if you go to their website, Bank of America, Preferred Rewards is the well-known a loyalty program Bank of America has on the retail side. That first program really reshaped the way banks should look at the customers. It's a tremendous value, generated a lot of revenue for the bank, improved the customer experience, and also made customers to purchase multiple products, multiple services across industry. So fast forward to Allstate. The Allstate has a digital transformation, I think, which we'll get into the later part of that. So if you are a Allstate customer, one of the services we offer as a premium service, if you are using insurance product, you broke down on the road, we like to come and rescue you. So what we made it really easy. I think a lot of innovation gone into that particular innovation. It's called Good Hands Rescue Network. We are also called Uber Roadside. We were listed in the even Forbes, even that article is there too. So that entire journey, it's a matter of just a click up a button, we can help you. Okay. So the amazing journey is customers have been struggling. We were trying to get a net promoter score, which is the industry standard customer experience perspective. We moved from 56 to 72 no time. Okay. That entire digital the journey, we leverage the data, we leverage AI, and we bring the technology to package them together, drive the digital transformation. I can fast forward to that, even going back to the CVS, which is a recent experience. One of the largest loyalty programs in the retail industry is the Extra Care. We will exactly create a personalized experience for you. Which store you're making it, what product and you're trying to purchase. We will try to recommend right products, right offers for you. Then when you walk out from the retail store to outside, we try to create the best experience possible. So that also driven by the data perspective. So I think in summary, I think my experience has been, obviously I have been working with the big corporations. We have a lot of investment, a lot of resources to do all those things. Data has been an amazingly important asset. A lot of AI tools we have used, amazingly important. We were able to create a lot of branded products for these companies. So that's how we leveraged the data and AI to reshape some of the organizations.
You mentioned it, these very large organizations that are obviously collecting a whole lot of data, but you also mentioned bringing AI and other tools in to help do the analytics for it and to get some insights from that data. And I know every business collects a lot of data and stores them in various application databases all over the place. But that value is blocked into those applications. How can an organization leverage automation to aggregate the data across those applications to get better insights from across their estate?
That's, I would say, wonderful question. I think here is the reason I would say a lot of people confused with the data and the AI. Okay. Data is nothing but an asset. It's almost like owning a piece of the land and house, some a fixed asset. Okay, that's the best we can describe as in a data perspective. If you have a fixed asset, even a car, land, some gold, you really need to figure out how to extract the value from that. It's very hard because that the data is sitting into multiple systems they may not have access to. They may not know the quality of the data. They don't know the definition of the data. The first thing they truly need to understand what challenges organization has that can really solved by the data. So as an organization, what are my top business challenges I'm having? The second one they need to looking at, given that I have a marketing problem, I have an operational problem, I have a customer experience problem, they can truly focusing on what data sources they need to go after. So, for a business audience, okay, I'm going to give a very simple analogy. And I like to make a dish tonight. Okay, maybe I wanted to make a pasta tonight. I needed 3 ingredients. Which store should I go to? Should I go to Costco? Should I go to local convenience store? You really need to figure it out where should I get my raw materials. Once you have identified the sources, we call the sources nothing but the convenience store you're walking into. How to bring that data into your centralized data repository. So what generally called the first thing is the pipeline integration. It's where if you're living in a village, your village is sending a water pipes to your house, right? So it's almost like a building the pipes where the sources are, bringing that data into a centralized place. That entire pipelines, we call the data pipelines. I'm just using it easy to understanding it. That's easy. You don't need to invest a tons of money. You just build the data pipelines to bring that. Once you have the data, we call the a transforming that data into information. You can start consuming it. Going back to a point is identify the business problem first. Identify where you need to go back and get the data sources. Build the pipelines and store that and transform the data into a information that is ready for a consumption. So the entire process is people make it so complicated. It's a very few steps, step 1, step 2, step 3. Obviously, there is a technology side. We need someone who can understand a little bit tools, someone who can analyze the data. You need a little bit more tech savvy people that can help us. But from the business perspective, business audience, they need to really help our tech people. Here is the business problem I have. Once the tech guys solve it, they should be able to measure it. So once someone make a pasta here, is it tasting good, right? They need to tell us again tasting side too. That's as simple as the data, Michael. Yeah.
Well, you bring up a good point. From the business side, they're the ones who can identify the problems and at least from a business perspective. But you just mentioned there's a whole lot of technology and data repositories spread out all over the organization. I imagine as a chief digital officer, there are ways that you fit within there. So how do you see the role of the CDO as it resolves this data and business problem fitting within that, within the digital transformation broader program?
Again, that's a wonderful question. I think that I would say CDO needs to be a change agent for the organization from the data perspective. So if we don't act like a change agent, you are only acting like a problem solver. You cannot go anywhere. I just wanted to make sure that the audience understand that. The definition of change agent influencing the business people. This is the how the data can solve it. A lot of times the change has to be expressed, explained, make it simple for the business, showcase them that this is going to generate a value for them. That's a first a the role a CDO needs to play. And the second role, absolutely, make sure the operational systems are collecting the right data. So you need to make sure that the collection of the data is very important. That's second role a CDOs need to play. On the third role, they really need to align a business strategy with the data strategy. That's where you are bringing the business people and technology people bring to the table. Let's communicate now. Let me talk about what business problem we have. And it always starts with why are you solving this problem? What is causing it? If we solve this problem, how this is going to connect to your greater goodness, you need to looking at. So the third role CDO is to looking at bring the technology and the business together, talk about what business problem we need to looking at. Fourth role, they need to act like a chief data officer. There is a difference between a chief digital officer, a chief a data officer. They need to bring a right data governance, data quality, right way to build data lake infrastructure. So the data lake is nothing but centralizing your data. Make sure that it's properly governed, properly maintained, that's going to be used. And the fifth role they need to play, they need to enable the a organization with right technology tools. People can start extracting the value out of it. So if you're breaking it down, act like change agent. Make sure that operational systems are collecting the data correctly. Third one is to bring the technology and the business together. Fourth one is to make sure that you are really building a data infrastructure that's scalable for the organization. Fifth one, you need to enable the tools that can start generating the value. You can enable the AI tools, you can look at generative AI, you can do the BI tools. If they follow these 5 guidelines, every organization definitely can get a value. A lot of hats to wear. We're looking at those 5 different, you have to wear multiple hats. That's why these roles are very challenging.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Speaking about challenging roles, we organizations, they wrestle with how to introduce AI, machine learning in various areas of their business. What are the top, say, 2, 3 implications that these organizations have to consider as they're doing this? Because you mentioned it's something that the data is super important, building the right data with the governance, those things you just mentioned as a CDO going into this to be able to align with getting clean data and having it ready to be analyzed. But there's got to be more to that when you start introducing AI and machine learning into it now that you have clean data. So what are implications that these organizations struggle with?
So again, I'm speaking for real experience. The first foremost problem, they're having issues with the data infrastructure. Their data is siloed, not fully integrated, not trusted. It's not centralized. It's not easy to access it. That's where a lot of companies are struggling. Yeah, a lot of people are talking about generative AI, chat GPT, a lot of newer technologies. I have a rudimentary problem is, foundational problem is, my data is not fully matured yet. So that's where I think I have been spending a lot of time creating the data strategy, implementing the at least programs that can really scale the data capabilities, that problem. And the second problem, what I see it, a lot of these organizations don't have a KPIs that can really connect the dots to their business. So let's say, should I use the CSAT versus NPS? That, okay, I'm just giving an example. Okay. Do I need to use a shipping delays versus the pickup delays, right? So they're struggling. If I'm retailer, am I my shipper is getting late to pick the a shipment or delaying the vehicle? So they are struggling with defining the base KPIs and creating a basic monitoring and tracking and make sure that they have business insight that they can manage and assess the risk as they continue to operate it. Those are the two main challenges a lot of companies are struggling. And the third component where they're struggling is they're democratizing the data into across the organization because they don't have a lot of business users buying in because they're not really bringing all the people together. We need to make our organization is data driven. We need your participation. Come in, be part of this journey. This organization, this program is really critical for the entire organization. We just can't keep this one in the back burner. We need to move forward with it. That's third challenge they're looking at. So far, those are my top three problems, I would say, what I have been experiencing with the clients we are working with. I know some people wanted to move with the MLAI. There are skill set issues. They don't know how to implement it. But that's where we are also spending, educating on the MLAA side, more on the skill set and gap side. But these are the top three. A fourth issue is the skill set on the MLA side. Yeah, hope
So
that helps.
it does. It brings up a question though. So you're mentioning about the KPIs that they're driving the change, or at least monitoring the changes that are being made. When you look at a digital transformation program, what are common KPIs that organizations will generally land on? And then what are some that are maybe not so common that you've seen are big benefit for tracking?
I think I go back to the product we have developed, right? So where we use the digital transformation to create that entire journey, from the breakdown to towing your vehicle to the dealer, we like to bring it down to less than 30 minutes. So we were running around the 60 plus minutes. That entire journey, we need to bring it down. So we packaged that entire journey and into a fewer steps and a fully automated journey that completely reduced the waiting time. We call the expected time to arrival, ETA. And the second one is the NPS, okay, the Net Promoter Score. So if you are coming into retail store, any retailer would like to sell more, and we want you to walk out with the big size of the bucket. So the metrics we have used, how often you are coming into the store, how much you are spending it, those are the key metrics we have used. Okay, so if we make you to come into the store more frequently, if somehow we can influence to buy more, then the company is going to generate a revenue for that. Because the second one is purely revenue goals, selfishly on the retail side, we have that. In that case, what we have done the digital transformation perspective. So we understood who you are, what type of products, how long we have a relationship with you, how often you have been coming to the store, and what type of products you have been purchasing it, and what type of product we should recommend, what type of customized offers we should give to you, what channel we should really communicate to you so that we will achieve those two goals I just told you, those KPIs. That's what we have done. That entire journey, rather than you have a call center people, someone is doing manually doing all those things, we package all the goals into digital transformation. We made it fully automation. So that's what I'm looking at. So digital transformation always needs to look at question number one: why are you seeking for the change? That's where you start with the metrics. If we can answer that, then it becomes how do you transform that journey end to end? That's where you need to create that a digital transformation. So there are three critical components in the digital transformation.
And I
Data is
imagine, and
go
I
ahead.
imagine when you look at that too,
Mm.
the transformation itself is going to be one that's going to include both a technology component, but also perhaps a process change component too. Because to be able to hit some of these KPIs or to adjust them appropriately, you need to do more than just throw technology at it, right? You need to think through the process and see how you can apply not only the technology, but maybe organizational changes, or in case of retail, maybe signage or some other incentive reward program or something like that. So there's a lot of thought process that goes into that, which then may also then affect the data that you're collecting and where it's being collected to allow you to track those new KPIs or to identify how best to address them over time. Because as we all know, digital transformation is an ongoing thing. You don't just transform overnight. There's incremental changes. There may be large changes, but there's always going to be incremental changes as you go, because we're in an ever changing world. So, based on some of those things, how do you see organizations addressing both the technology change, but also the process change component?
So that's a great question, Michael. I think if you're looking at the transform, the change, right? The way organizations have been using the process to deliver the product and services, it's a process, right? I think ultimately transforming the current process to new process using the technology and the people and the systems. There are three ingredients, right? So you need to have a people, you need to have a process, you need to have a technology. So the first thing is we need to have a people buy into the change you're trying to introduce the process. Okay, so let's say my job has been always is coming into the store, right, and sitting on the counter and selling it. Now, with the change, I don't sell it. I'm going to help kiosk. Someone is going to come back to the kiosk, help them. They don't know to do the self checkout, right? So really introducing the change, very important to understand the change and dedicating the people. Then the second one, you rightly said, very important point is process. In really need to create a change in the process in the so that process need to lay out in the step by step. Now we have bought the people. Now we have aligned the what is the process in it looking at. Now we introduce the systems to make that change. So systems, technology comes at the last. People don't pick the technology first. Pick first what process you're trying to do and who is going to be managing the change. Then try to introduce the technology. That's where when you leverage the technology and the digital transformation, that's where you're bringing the three different ingredients. One is the data is very important. Data is an input to the digital transformation. A lot of people have wanted to, without the data strategy, you cannot drive a effective digital transformation. And the second one is the AI tools you use, automation. Historically, we have been building a digital transformation, hard coding business rules, right? The AI does. Don't hard code. Let's say my business model is going to change X to Y tomorrow. Using more AI type of methods, you are really creating a dynamic business change, business rule change. That's where AI comes in. A lot of people get confused with AI. AI, you don't necessarily need to use the AI in the digital transformation, but you should definitely looking at what business rules I have. Can that be dynamically built? And the third one is to build the digital technologies. It could be mobile apps, it could be online apps to build it. So those are the three ingredients you need to make that change. That's where it is. I think people make it so complicated. It's not that complicated, right?
With all the change that goes on, you got two major groups that are being affected. You've got the employees, but your customers also have to buy into that change too, as they look at, is this something that I want? It may be best for the company, but is this something that I want? Do I want to be going to a kiosk to purchase this, or is this something where I really always need to be talking to somebody because it's a more complicated type of sale? So understanding that dynamic of a change may be best for the company or for the organization, but is it best for your customer? So when you look at your KPIs that you're identifying from your business perspective and whatnot, how can the right implementation or application of an analytics program really drive happier customers?
So I think there is no right or wrong answer in this question. I think, but I can tell you how I have implemented it, what worked for me. Okay. If there is a change that's gonna improve your business model as your customer experience, first and foremost, you need to communicate with your clients, your customers. Let them participate in the pilot. Okay. Based on the change. So I'm gonna go back to my Allstate days. One of the things we need to implemented we have done, every time you request a service, we have decided to communicate through SMS. We s- we failed big way. Okay, we failed. The reason the we after we implementing SMS, we received more calls than just start using it. Why the hell you're texting me, right? People at least say disappointed in this case. Okay. Then the aha moment was we cannot go back and implement that change unless you engage with the customers, buy in from the customers, and they take your customers along with you. I think that's what I think going back to the first question I would ask. Why are you trying to make the change? What is driving the change? And how are you planning to communicate that change to your customers, your employees? Do you have right buy-in to that, make that change or not? Otherwise, it's going to backfire you. Okay. So I think the going back to important how I have done it, incrementally doing it as an interim chief digital officer at the Roadside Protect. We are trying to pick one of the clients what we have, and we are asking them to adopt how they request the service end to end so that we can take the humans out. There are clients, they're willing to participate it, but we need to work with them and make sure that they love the change. If I go back and implement it all, wow, awesome, I built this awesome system, go back and adopt it, you are really going to fail. Again, I'm just going to tell you, that's our experience. That's my experience. I think the customer is definitely needs to be center. If not one of them, they need to be in the center to accept the change. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that totally makes sense to me. So shifting gears as we close up here, when you're looking at the roles that you've participated in over your careers, what's inspiring you as you service your customers and as you take on these different challenges? What inspires you?
One constant theme I think I have been, and it's inspiring me, how data has been humanizing the experience with the companies. Okay. So if you are an organization, every organization to relate with their customers, ultimately customers need to bring the revenue to the organization. Data has been a critical enabler to better understand the customers, their emotions, their feelings, make the companies to understand what the customers are truly looking from you, from the product perspective, from price perspective, from the market, for you name it. So the data has been a one ingredient I have been loving to use to better understand the customers. So that gives me baseline to how to serve the customers, right? How to make my business model meet with my customer expectations. That's going to give me help to introduce a new products and new services. That's going to help me to even set my business goals for this. So that's what I think I've been living in predominantly in the consumer world across different industries. The data has been a big enabler for bringing the customers to the forefront, taking care of their customers.
And that makes sense. Is you have happy customers leads to better experiences for your organization from a bottom line perspective. They'll be buying more from you. They'll be happy about it. They'll tell friends, right? All those KPIs that you were looking at from a revenue standpoint they're going to head in the right direction if you got some happy customers. So that's a good place to start. So, well, Govid, it was fantastic to talk with you today. I'm so glad you're able to share with us some of your experiences working with data and how it's really affecting organizations, large and small, and how they not only run their businesses, but also how they treat their customers. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for tuning in to Transform Now. For more insightful discussions on digital transformation and more, check out our podcast channel where you'll find all of our previous episodes. And to make sure you never miss an episode, subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast player. And if you like what you've heard, please leave us a review. For more information about digital transformation and the future of work, check out blueprism.com to learn how SS&C Blue Prism's digital workforce is enabling enterprise transformation now.